it's really wonderful for me to be here again after several years, given that I spent so much time here when I was researching and writing the biography of Manning Clark. And around you'll see that there are shelves and shelves of Manning's books, and also portraits and cartoons that were done of him while he was alive. We've probably forgotten just how significant, how a major public figure Manning was.
Familiar with that, yeah.
That he'd become something else, something much larger than any historian had probably come to be in Australian public life, I think, in the 20th century. And this space, this desk that I'm sitting at, this view that I'm looking out towards Parliament House in Canberra, was the place where Manning wrote his 6-volume History of Australia. The first volume of that was published in 1962, and the last volume was published in 1987. And together, those 6 volumes are well over 1 million words, but the majority of them were written here at this desk. And this was, from his mid-40s until his death in 1991, this was the place where he spent most of his life. And now, even 20 years after his death, we can still walk into this, literally climb into this space, and we can pretty much be sure that what we're seeing around us is what Manning saw and what Manning experienced when he was sitting here. And we're so fortunate that it's still here. It's an archive of a writer's mind. It's an archive of Australia in the late 20th century and its history, mostly, of course, predominantly from the arrival of Europeans in the late 18th century. Well, look at this. This filing cabinet was here. Everything is exactly where it was when I was last in this space, which would be probably at least 5 or 6 years ago now. Here are the pens with which he wrote the history, the ink pens. Incredible. It's all still here. And I spent many, many days and nights up here reading that correspondence between Manning and Dymphna, and reading Manning's diaries, and looking at the annotations in many of these books that are on the shelves, where Manning had marked the passages that mattered to him, which is why when I wrote the biography I decided I'd actually devote a section of the book to this library, to this study. You can see a pair of old boots. And these boots that sit up on top, if you like, of all these books, as if they're more important than anything else, very real reminder that for Manning you had to get out of the library, you had to get out of the study. You couldn't write about a place unless you went there, unless you experienced that place in person. That a historian needed to always put their boots on. It's uplifting to think that other people will be able to use this study and find things in it that can carry through some of the spirit of some of the things he was trying to achieve in his work. It's a special space.